respect to that, we will create a couple of negative API requests to the Postman. The first scenario is record not found. When we are requesting a record which is not there in the server, we will get the record not found with the 404 status code. And the second scenario is when we are passing invalid characters in the request body. So that time we will get the 400 error with the bad request. And the third scenario we have is when we are passing many characters. For example, there is a one field as a mobile number. So we have to pass the only 10 digits. If we are passing the more than the 10 digits, so definitely server will not accept it. So in that case also we'll get the 400 status code with the bad request. And the fourth scenario we have is we are sending API request with the missing information. For example, that particular API request body should contain all the fields. For example, that contains the first name, last name, date of birth. If you are not sending any one of those field, so we will get the bad request error with the 400. And fifth scenario we have is we have to send the data in a proper format. For example, date format is there. So in that particular field, we have to pass it properly. Let's say, for example, first month, then date, then year. So we have to pass the data in the required format. So otherwise, we will get the 400 error with the bad request. So let us go to our Postman and we'll implement the few negative API requests. So here what I will do, I'll go to the negative scenarios folder, and the first scenario I will create by using the get request, get booking details. I'll simply duplicate this particular API request and then I will drag this copy of the get request into the negative scenarios folder. Then I will rename this request as get booking details invalid ID. So in this API we are passing the invalid booking ID so that we will get the 404 error with the not found. So that's it. So here I will pass any of the number, some random number. So that's it. Then I will send it. So if you look at here, so we are getting the 404 error with the not found. So this is one of the negative scenario by using the get request. So similarly, we will use the post request. Then I will duplicate this request. So in this post request, what we will do, we will pass the invalid characters for one of the field so that it will fail with the bad request. Simply I will drag this particular request into the negative scenarios folder. Then I will rename this request with invalid characters. So I'll say cas. So that's it. So I'll go to the request body now, and here for the total price, I will pass some special characters. So right now there are some numeric values are present. So I will replace this with the special characters so that our request will fail. So that's it. Only one field value I have updated with the invalid characters. That's it. Then I will send it. So if you look at here, so this particular API is failing. So we got the response from the server with the 400 and the bad request. So this is how you can create the negative API requests. So for example, you can pass here for example, if there is any restriction, first name should contains the 10 characters. So in that case, you can pass the 10 characters or more than 10 characters, and also you can enter the special characters in that particular field. And also you can specify the spaces in between the strings and check it. So these are the other set of negative scenarios which you can test it if this particular API is implemented with the